It's another day in paradise. Welcome to the Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California. This is Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford. Brad Sham, Mickey Spagnola. Felt a little more like football today. The pads went on. Opening ceremonies, including the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. More about that later. And thank goodness for football, because yesterday's tweet storm back and forth was one of the most bizarre days of a Cowboys training camp where no football had been played yet that I think I've ever seen.
That almost opens Cowboys training camp, right?
Really
what
did.
would be a Cowboys training camp without some sort of storm? And it's not a local storm. It ends up being a national storm thanks to the Twitter world out there and people tweeting things that aren't totally accurate. You get Des Bryant answering to the accusations that he made up in his own mind, I think, and then the back and forth, and then it comes back to us to try to clean it up.
And it comes to Coach Jason Garrett to address it with his team and to answer questions like that. Do you ever get tired of all this?
You know, I think the biggest thing that we've tried to emphasize with the culture that we've tried to build here is that you focus on us each day and what we can do to be the best players and coaches we can be. And our players hear that from me a lot. They hear that from our coaches a lot, and I believe they believe it, and I think they do a good job of it. Obviously, in 2018 in the NFL with the Cowboys, there's a lot of attention, there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of noise out there, and you know, our guys really just come to work, and really proud of how they've started training camp, locked in, focused, ready to go, and again, today's a big day for us.
And you can understand Jason Garrett wanting to get his attention fully concentrated on the football. And even today, they didn't do as much one-on-one work with receivers and defensive backs as they will normally do, but at least we saw some collisions and guys running around in pads. You just start to kind of get a feel for what we're looking at.
Absolutely, and one of the feels we've been asking to see is what happens with the offense and defensive linemen, and they were at least able to do some one-on-one work, so that was good. There's a lot of things to answer there. We want to keep an eye on Connor Williams moving into that left guard spot. We want to keep an eye on the defensive tackles, who's playing in there, how's Jihad Ward doing, and all the guys that they have candidates at defensive end. We're getting a look at them finally, with pads on, by the way.
There's a lot of competition and a lot of hard work that players put in to making an NFL team. But you know what? They're not the only ones, and we've got that story when we come back with special guests on Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store.
Welcome back to Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford. Brad Sham, Mickey Spagnola. We obviously have some special guests. This was the official opening of the Cowboys training camp today with the opening ceremonies, which is not complete with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and that's only a part of why these beautiful young ladies are with us this evening.
So, Brad, with us we have Kashara and Lacey. Thanks for joining us, you guys. And one of the things that they do in starts in the offseason and goes through the season, it's the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders making the team. It's the 13th season, so you guys are kind of like movie stars.
I mean, if you want to compare us to that, you can. You're more than welcome.
So is it a fun thing to do? You guys have done it before. You're going through it right now, and it's like everything you guys do, somebody's watching, right?
It's definitely under a microscope. It is a full documentation of our process of making the team, earning our star the same way these guys are out here earning theirs.
Right. A lot of hard work goes into it, but it's amazing to make so many good friends, and the process is so fun.
How long does it take you to realize that months from now, this show's still going to be on and it's going to pop up all of a sudden, you're going to be on TV and you weren't even thinking about it?
It's so exciting. Honestly, we count down the days until it airs because so much does go into it and a lot of hard work, so it's exciting when we get to see it kind of come to life and experience it all again on the TV.
So speaking of airing, the first episode of the 13th season will be Thursday, August 2nd. So do you guys all watch it together? You watch it by yourself? How do you guys do it?
We have watch parties. We'll have a full practice. Thank the good Lord for DVRs because we'll record it even if we have to still be at practice that long, and we'll watch it as a team. And it's really neat to experience it with Kelly and Judy, all of our staff, and all the girls, because you get to look back at how far you've come and all the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears that have got you to the point where you're at.
Is there a lot of squealing when you see yourselves, or because you don't know what's coming, right?
Peeking through your fingers, getting ready to hide, and a lot of it's funny that a lot of this stuff you kind of forget about. You sort of block it out because you're just trying to get to the next day. You know, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of nerves every single night. The cameras add a little extra dimension to what we go through in the studio to make the team. So it's definitely a good reminder every time you see the show of just how hard it is to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Now, do you guys, Lacey, talk to the young rookies that have never done this before or never had to watch themselves before?
Right. We do kind of forewarn them, it's going to be weird seeing yourselves, and going into training camp, we also try to remind them to just be themselves and take it all in. It's a great process.
Appreciate you guys joining us.
Thank you very much for being with us. And again, episode 1 is Thursday night.
August 2nd.
August 2nd on CMT. When we come back, a look at one of the most changed positions in the Cowboys training camp. This is Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford.
This segment was brought to you by Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store.
Welcome back to Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford. Brad Sham, Mickey Spagnola. Now, we know the Cowboys are one of the youngest teams in the league, and possibly no position group on the team has changed more than the tight ends. A year ago, the Cowboys' tight ends were Jason Witten, James Hanna, and Geoff Swaim. When Hanna was injured, rookie Blake Jarwin joined in. Now, Witten and Hanna have retired, and 24-year-old, four-year veteran Swaim is the veteran presence. And although Witten not being there opens opportunities, it is a little surreal.
Over time, everything becomes normalized. And so, now you don't think about it as much. You're kind of concentrated on what you're doing. But, yeah, it is a little odd, especially thinking about how long he's been here and what he's meant to the organization and what he's meant to this position throughout the league and the way it's developed and how instrumental he was in that. It's definitely a little odd.
Now the challenge for coaches is to find a way to use all the tight ends' talents so that they can all contribute.
Those things are always in, kind of in your mind, and you're always kind of stirring the pot and shaking things up to see what you can work with. So there is definitely a sense of that as, what do I do really well? What does Blake do well? What does Dalton do well? What does Rico and David, what do those guys, what do we all do well individually that's unique? And how can we use that best within our offense? There's definitely a sense of that.
I'm glad the pads came on today because I'm anxious to see all those tight ends. There's 5, 6 of them in the room. I want to see every one of them in pads and see what they're able to do.
And that's what the Cowboys coaches are anxious to see also. And I'm wondering how it's going to work out, Brad. You've got young tight ends. You're used to seeing the tight end that played Jason Witten. He would go 55, 60 plays a game. I'm not sure they're going to have one guy do that. I think it's going to be a collaboration.
We are going to talk about that and a lot more from a special location tomorrow night on a 30-minute edition of Inside Cowboys Training Camp, brought to you by Ford.
Inside Cowboys Training Camp, presented by Ford, was brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Sleep Number. The new Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. Want to tour AT&T Stadium? For more information, call 817-892-TOUR or visit attstadium.com/tours.